One state just
Yeah.
nuked its divorce rates by
Typically
doing
sucks
one
for
rare
us.
thing that the rest of America would never dare.
And there is a real danger that the divorce rate is going down because it's harder for women to leave.
If I have my child half the time, why am I paying full support? Like I'm not even around. This system don't reward fatherhood, it punishes it.
Kentucky flipped the script. They became the first state in America to pass a law making 50-50 custody the default. And the moment that happened, something incredible and honestly terrifying for some people was exposed.
Hey, yo. It's your boy Gerald. What we got today, man? We got moms can't cash out anymore. Divorce rates crash. Lawyers are panicking? Whoa. This can't be what I think it is. Because if it is what I think it is, this seems like it's a W for the homies. Divorce rates crashed? That's a good thing, right? If it's going down, I think that's an amazing thing. But I wonder why. Why is it going down? Moms can't cash out anymore? Huh. I think this is about to be an interesting video. Hopefully it's factual. I don't think she's on here talking about no bullshit, so shit, let's get straight into it. I'm excited.
Divorces in Kentucky just collapsed by 25%. Not because couples suddenly found love again, but because the cash out game is over.
Oh.
For decades, divorce was treated like a jackpot.
It really
Mom
was.
walks away with the kids.
Really is.
Mom walks away with the check. And dad? He's reduced to a weekend visitor and a paycheck.
One state just nuked its divorce rates by
Typically
doing
sucks
one
for
rare
us.
thing that the rest of America would never dare.
And there is a real danger that the divorce rate is going down because it's harder for women to leave.
If I have my child half the time, why am I paying full support? Like I'm not even around. I'm feeding them, clothing them, taking them to school, wiping their tears, just like she is. But somehow, only I have to pay up. This system don't reward fatherhood, it punishes it.
Kentucky flipped the script. They became the first state in America to pass a law making 50-50 custody the default. And the moment that happened, something incredible and honestly terrifying for some people was exposed. When women realized they could no longer cash out through the courts, divorce filing dropped overnight.
When did this happen though? When did I missed the memo or something, nigga? Like, when did it happen? Like I feel like we've been talking about how people are getting wrecked in divorces for so long, up until goddamn last week. Now all of a sudden, the laws changed and divorce rates have crashed. When did this law come in place, and when did we even? Who did the math? Like, this is all happening all of a sudden to me personally. I don't know what's happening here.
Full quarter fewer divorces in one state compared to just 18% nationwide. Men call it fairness. Women's group, they call it dangerous. And that clash right there between fairness and fear is why this story is exploding.
There are reports coming out of Kentucky that the divorce rate has completely plummeted. 25%. It's gone down 25%. Like, that's significant. You know, when the divorce rate nationally rests, I don't know, I think a little bit above 50%, to have it drop 25% in one state is
Wild.
means to pay attention. It's a reason to pay attention.
And here's the kicker. The money numbers prove it. Before this law, a dad making $4,000 a month would be forced to hand over nearly $10,000 a year in child support. After the new law,
Wait, hold up.
Before this law, a dad making $4,000 a month would be forced to hand over nearly $10,000 a year in child support. After the new law, that drops to maybe $200 a month, sometimes zero. We're talking about a $7,500 swing in every year. Plus, something even bigger.
Wow.
Half of his child's life back. I'll break down that math in just a moment. But first, let's talk about why this single change sent shockwaves through the divorce industry. Because, let's be real, if divorce filing dropped by 25% the second the financial jackpot disappeared, What does that tell you?
It can't be the second, right? Again, I need to know when all these laws got in place. I'm about to start doing some Google searches right now.
For years, men have been told, no, it's not about the money. Women just aren't happy. But the data speaks louder than the excuses. As soon as the reward for leaving was gone, so was the rush to file divorce. And that's why this law is stirring up a storm. Fathers say it's justice. Critics say it's a trap. Women's group are arguing that it locks moms in marriages and puts kids at risk. But let's look at the bigger picture. Florida, Arkansas, West Virginia, Missouri, they've already filed Kentucky's lead. And right now, over 20 more states are considering it. This isn't just about Kentucky. This is the beginning of the end for the divorce cash-out system. The critics say this law puts women and children in danger. But when you actually look at the facts, and when you see how much
But all that cuts down on the cash out these women can get from these divorces, how is that putting the kids and the mothers in danger? Why? Because they're not what they gotta actually work for their shit. But now they gotta make a proper decision. Like, oh, do I really want to divorce this guy just because I want to live my life when I have a whole kid with this person? Am I really willing to sacrifice all that? Because not even just sacrificing your own life, but you're really sacrificing the well-being of the child because you're raising the child in a single parent household where the child has no recollection of a good relationship between his mom and his dad, which is probably only gonna just carry on into his future life or her future life because they have no good example to go off of. Stuff like that. So yeah, maybe it makes these group women think twice about just upping and leaving. And I'm not trying to say these girls don't have valid reasons sometimes, but clearly the fact that this has actually led to a drop in the divorce rates, you can see that there was actually an underlying issue. The same thing with everything else in life, that there's always going to be people that try to exploit certain rules and gifts given to them, you know what I'm saying? So it was an exploitation issue. Not every woman was involved in this, but a lot of women took this opportunity to gain all the spoils of this tragic event of divorce. So it seems, if this is really true, that this law has been put in place and divorce rates are going down, I do not see a problem.
System was really built on men's wallet, you'll understand why this law isn't just saving families. It's exposing the truth about modern divorce.
I don't think it's necessary. We split her 50-50. She's at my house just as much. She's with me just as much, if not more.
Okay.
Your Honor, I would say that's probably an argument for her to pay me. If we're splitting 50-50, I shouldn't have to pay all of it.
That's exactly what I was getting ready to say. So you kind of like told on yourself. So you ready to move forward with the numbers?
Sure.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get ready with the numbers. So it looks like you make...
Love to see a black woman in power, huh? That's beautiful.
At $100,000 a year, do you work overtime or is that regularly what you make?
No,
Sorry, she made what?
$100,000 a year, do you work
God, what you do? You look like a sailor.
overtime or is that regularly what you make?
No, I work overtime. But
Okay. And does that include
Shit.
overtime?
yes,
I gotta get my shit
it's a
up.
salaried position, so it's just straight up.
All right, let's put some real numbers on this because the math is what makes it undeniable. Before Kentucky passed the 50-50, the typical story looked like this. Dad makes about $4,000 net income. Mom gets the kids 80%
A lot of people
the
weren't
time.
even making up to that.
Dad gets every other weekend and maybe one dinner during the week. Under those guidelines, child support lands around 20% of his income. That's about $800 a month, nearly $10,000 a year, gone. And remember, that's on top of insurance, school costs, and extras he still has to cover. Now, after 2018 with 50-50 custody as a default, same dad, same income, but
As of 2000 or what?
he still has to cover. Now, after 2018 with 50-50 custody as a default, same dad, same income, but now he has his kids half the time, which means child support gets offset. Instead of $800 a month, he might pay maybe $200 to $300 a month. In some cases, if mom makes close to the same amount, he pays nothing, zero. That's not just $7,500 a year staying.
He pays nothing, zero. Oh, in terms of like, okay, they both take care of the child, so they don't have to have, there's no set payment towards the other partner. Okay, I get it.
In his pocket. That's also half of his child's life back. He's not just a paycheck anymore. He's a parent again. And this is where things get heated. Because if you think men celebrated, you're right. But women's groups, they lost their minds. They say this law traps women in bad marriages and puts kids in danger. But
no, if you really want to get yourself out of, if it's a really bad marriage, if you're getting beat or got like, if you're just being abused daily, if you're so certain you're being abused, I think you would be fine divorcing without having some. So why do you need a payment? Why do you need payment? Why do you need incentive to leave? If you're really upset with your situation and you really are in a bad spot, leave. We've all gone past the point of like feminism, you know, y'all, this ain't no, y'all in the workforce damn near more than the dudes now. Y'all in school definitely more than the dudes. Women, I think on average women are making more money than men now. So, you know, y'all, I'm pretty sure we've gotten past this whole stage of bullshit that girls can't take care of themselves. They absolutely can. So again, if you are feeling unappreciated and unhappy in your marriage, you can leave, and you can leave without a payout. You do not need incentive to leave. Controversial take.
Actually look at what people on the ground are saying, the story looks very different. Top male comment: if divorces drop by 20%, the second child support dries up. That proves it was never about happiness. It was about the money. Another father says, for once, courts don't see me as just a wallet. This is the first time in decades I feel like an equal parent. A mom's comment: I'm in a Kentucky mom group, and women are literally deciding whether to leave their husbands based off of this law. It's hard for them now. Someone responds to, hard for them? You mean hard because they can't cash out anymore. This isn't trapping women. It's finally equality. This is what makes this law explosive. For men, it's not just about saving money. It's about finally being seen as more than just disposable. For critics, it's the end of a system they quietly benefited from for decades. And that clash, fairness versus fear, equality versus entitlement, is exactly why this debate is spreading beyond Kentucky. Because here's the part no one
is this law only in Kentucky? We need to get this shit everywhere. We need this everywhere.
They admit, if one state can cut divorce by 25% just by removing the financial jackpot, what happens when the entire country follows? Now, not everyone cheered when this law passed. Women's group came out swinging. Their biggest claim? That equal custody traps women in abusive marriages. They argue that judges sometimes overlook abuse unless the father directly harms the child. And yes, there's horror stories floating around.
Of course.
One mother said her husband nearly killed her. And just weeks later, a judge still granted him 50-50 custody. That story spread like wildfire. So, critics are painting this law as dangerous.
But you don't, like, again, with the abuse, you don't need a payout. You don't need a cash out. If you want some sort of level of justice, because the cash, you're thinking, trying to take the cash out or like the child support as like your sort of get back for all the abuse you face or dealt with, that's not how you do it. That if you really are about that justice, if you're really about that like payback or revenge, or you want to see him feel the consequences of what he did to you, you take the case to the higher authorities. You take the case to the police. If you're actually getting physically abused, you take the case to the police. You don't need a cash out.
Not just unfair, but unsafe. And on the surface, it sounds scary. But when you dig deeper, you realize something else is going on here, exposing the gray areas. Here's the truth. A lot of what gets labeled domestic violence in family court falls into what lawyers call the gray area. Things like yelling during an argument, breaking a dish, punching a wall, even blocking a doorway. In California, smashing a glass in the middle of a fight can be treated as DV. Now, I'm not saying those behaviors are good, but should a dad lose custody of his child
very gray
because he
area.
raised his voice once or broke a phone in an argument? That's exactly what
That
used
really
to
doesn't
happen.
make sense.
Before Kentucky's law, those gray areas claimed could tilt custody completely in mom's favor. Equal custody stopped that. Judges now start at 50-50, meaning those small ambiguous incidents don't automatically strip a father away from his children.
So most of y'all know by now that I had a restraining order put on me after 4 years. That's 4 years after the first custody battle. The whole reason why I got a restraining order thrown on me was because I did videos like this. I spoke up explaining why men are giving up on their children, why, just pretty much why, because no one cares why. But if I keep speaking, enough people will start listening to where I can try and get through to some people's heads.
And here's what's wild.
I don't understand that. You got a restraining order because you spoke against the fact that men are being bamboozled in these custody battles. How did you speaking up about situations like that get you a restraining order from your kids or your family? That's not even your family no more, nigga. Like, cause she left, but from your kids because you spoke about the injustices of that. I don't know. How did they even get that? I'm not trying to. Maybe it happened. Maybe it does. I don't know. There's just no clear. I need more than that to be persuaded to take your story. I'm trying to be as fair as possible right now.
The same people who call this law dangerous are the ones who spent years shouting about equality. But the second equality means women don't get a financial advantage. Suddenly, it's oppression. I'll show you what real equality looks like in a minute, and why kids actually do better under shared parenting. But first, let's check the pulse of what people are really saying. Fathers comment, "This law saved my relationship with my kids. Before, I was a visitor. Now I'm a dad again." Mom, this is a death of a family system. Women and children will suffer. Male response, death of a system? No, it's the death of your free ride. This is the core battle right now. Fathers see this law as justice, finally leveling up the court system that treated them like second-class parents. Critics see it as patriarchy, a rollback of leverage in marriage. And the reason the debate is so emotional is simple. When you take away the financial reward for divorce, you expose what divorce was really built on. Let's zoom out for a second, because while the critics are shouting about danger, the research paints a completely different picture. Study after study show that kids do better with shared parenting. They perform better in school. They have fewer behavior problems. And they grow up with healthier views of relationships.
Yeah.
Because they didn't lose a parent in the process. In fact, one of the most powerful comments I saw was from a father who said, "For the first time, my kids don't feel like they're visiting anymore. They feel like they actually live with me." That's not just a financial win for men. That's a generational win for children. And here's the part that's going to flip the divorce industry upside down. This isn't stopping with Kentucky.
But why does the cash out, why does the payment of child support, how did that alone change the way his children view their situation? Unless it's a situation where the woman decided to cancel the divorce or not divorce it anymore, and they got back together, I don't see how that changes. Like, whether you're paying the child support or not, he's you know, they're still visited. If it's 50-50 custody, you know, you're gonna be with your mom sometimes, and they're gonna be with your dad sometimes. Why did it change? Because of the payment incentive. Because when now you have more money to spend on. I don't get it. I don't get it. Still a lot of holes, in my opinion. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Maybe I'm reading into it too much.
This law is spreading fast, and when it goes nationwide, the system built on cashing men out may not survive. As of this year, 20 more states are considering similar bills. Judges and lawmakers are calling it the new standard of equality. One Kentucky judge put it perfectly. You can't write laws for all families based off the worst case scenarios. And men knows what this means. If one state drops divorce by 20%, shook the system? Imagine what happens when dozens of states follow. We're talking about billions of lawyer fees gone, child support revenues slashed.
Hold on. This motherfucker is tripping right now.
And an entire divorce industry scrambling to survive. One father's comment, this isn't just equality, this is finally justice. Every state needs this law. Critics comment, this is the death of the divorce system. Women will be trapped. Male response, no, women aren't trapped. They're just not incentivized to
Why does it feel like we're just narrating a story? Critic response, male response, this nigga's response. Like, this is an interesting type of videos, content style, honestly. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it. It's just I'm not used to it.
Up anymore. So here's the truth men needs to hear. This isn't just about child support, it's about leverage. For decades, the divorce system gave one side all the power. The second that power was stripped away, divorce collapsed. And that's why this isn't just a local issue. It's the biggest cultural shift in family law in decades. Which raises the real question. What happens when the cash out system collapses nationwide? Because make no mistake, it's coming.
I believe that 50-50 is best, and I believe that there should be a presumption of 50-50 if there is no abuse history, there's no violent criminal history or other criminal history that would inhibit the person to parent the child, that there is no mental health issue that is going untreated that would impact the child negatively, that there's no drug and alcohol issue that's not being treated that would impact the child negatively, that there is no major distance geographically between the parents that would make 50-50 unrealistic, and that there hasn't been a significant amount of time passed since one parent has had contact with the child, like probably a year or more. I think if none of those are present in the case, then I think there should be a presumption of 50-50. I think it's what's best for the child.
So let's connect the dots. One state passed a law making 50-50 custody the default. Divorce rates dropped 25%. Lawyers panicked. Women's groups protested. Fathers finally felt equal.
Goddamn lawyers.
Kids got both parents back. And the divorce industry, it lost its golden goose. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. For decades, divorce wasn't just about broken marriages. It was...
I'm still trying to understand. Again, don't mind me. If you can explain this in the comments, please do. Feel like they got their parents back. Why does that change? Why does that, like, I understand you're pissed off about the child support that you have to pay, but does that mean you stay away from your kids? I thought that was more of a thing of like when you lose the 50-50 custody completely, like when they just like you get like 1 or 2 days with your kid every 2 weeks, like that type of thing. Does that change with this new law that just states we're gonna equalize the playing field and not have you pay as much, maybe sometimes even zero child support? Why does that change? Or is it the child support you're paying, does it decentivize you from seeing your kids? In my opinion, I don't think that would make sense, because it's like, you're already paying this. The laws already say you're paying it. Whether you gotta pay $10K or you gotta pay $200. It doesn't change the fact that you're still responsible for these kids, man. Like I don't know. Like being salty, you can be pissed off about it for sure because it's annoying and it's bullshit. But damn, bro, don't lose sight of the important thing, bro. The kids are still the most important thing. They are still the most important thing. I get it. It's annoying. It's frustrating, but you gotta be in that kid's life, man. You're already paying for it anyways, nigga. Like you for sure need to be in that kid's life because at that point it's like, fuck am I doing spending all this money? That would be even more annoying if you had to drop 10 bands and you're willingly not see your kids because you're upset. I don't get it. I don't get that. I feel like I'm misunderstanding certain words she's saying, or maybe I need a clarification here, man. I need help right here.
A business model, a system that rewarded one side with custody, cash, and control, while the other side got drained. The second that system got disrupted, divorces collapsed. And that should make everyone stop and think, how much of modern divorce was really about love? And how much was about leverage? And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all divorces are motivated by child support, money, or anything as such. Of
course, not all of them.
Some people might be really trapped in a marriage from which the only way out would be divorce. But the bigger picture is that this isn't
you don't need a cash out.
Which means this isn't just a fluke. This is the future. And the people...
Do you believe all of America will adopt this? I doubt it. I'm sorry. I do doubt it. I just think there's certain states that just there would prefer to keep it like that. If it could, that would be so amazing though. If all of America could adopt it. Canada's for sure not adopting this shit. It's Canadian niggas, bro. They don't give a fuck about the men in here, bro. They don't care. They don't care. If America, the whole of America adopts this, that would be powerful. And you're gonna see me hopping on that flight, bro. I'm about to be a fucking US citizen. Shit, I ain't trying to be in this place forever. That's for sure.
Who built careers off of divorce industries, they know it. So, here's the real question. If taking away the financial jackpot cut divorce by 25% in one state, what happens when the whole country follows? Because make no mistake, it's coming. And when it does, the divorce industry won't just shrink, it'll collapse. For the first time in decades, fathers won't be disposable, kids won't lose a parent, and women won't be able to cash out of marriage like it's a business deal. That's not oppression, that's equality.
That's equality.
That's accountability.
That's equality.
So, tell me,
accountability.
Is this the beginning of saving family? Or the end of an entire system built on men's backs? Drop your thoughts below because this conversation isn't ending anytime soon. And to better understand this divorce system, check out my latest video. It's been your girl Remy Renee here. I'll see you guys in my next.
Shout out to Remy Renee, man. Remy, for sure, an African sister right there. I wonder where she from. She might even be Nigerian. She just might. But yeah, no. I think I've said everything I needed to say about this situation. I don't see this being a bad thing whatsoever. This is a good thing. Seems like it's only for Kentucky right now, but it would be nice if we could see this happen in many other states. Hopefully Canada, but that's not happening. That's just being delusional. But yeah, no, this is a good thing. I would hope this happens more because we need to stop incentivizing divorce and wrecking these relationships, not just for the men, because y'all think we're just out here trying to help out the guys, bro. Thinking about the kids. You're separating the kids from a healthy upbringing, and all they see is, all they're gonna grow up to believe is, they can't find a stable household. They can't build something together with someone and make it work even through thick and thin. If you really do feel like you are being abused and you are not in a good situation, you can leave and not expect a payout. Go report your situation to the police if you feel like that man needs to go to jail. but he does not need to pay you for what he did. You can send him to jail. But anyways, that's just my take. That's just what I believe. Without further ado, man, turn on post notifications, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next video. Hey, yo, Gerald, out.